For the second question today, I would love to hear more on your vision for the traveling circus. What is the big plan with the traveling
hmm
circus?
So as much as we're doing like all the good stuff, the content that we're putting out there, the technical stuff, how to bridge the gap between technique and intensity, creating an equipment hierarchy, creating templates, creating a system, how to start training. Um, this is all invitational based. And I think that's, or what I felt a couple of years ago, that's what's missing in the fitness industry, because in the fitness industry, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, compulsion and fear always works, right? Because I can tell you, okay, if you don't do this, this will happen. If you don't eat this, if you don't do this exercise, this will happen. This is based on fear, and fear will lead to, if you do it, fear will at some point lead to compulsion, or I can force you to do it because you show up at my gym and I force you to do all the barbell snatches. I can force you to do all the barbell back squats with 100 reps, with 1,000 kilos. Sure, that works, but I don't think it's the right way. So how I want to do it with the traveling circus is I want to I want to send an invitation out there to try something different, and see if that works for you. I think I actually looked it up. I think I wrote twice in a book, don't do this. That's it. Because I don't believe in telling people what not to do. I'm believing offering a different path, a solution that works for me, and you can figure out if that works for you too. Um, Actually, the only two times I say don't is don't load a hip unless it's neutral, because I think that's really detrimental to your body. And the second thing is don't do sit-ups. I think that's the only don'ts that I use in the book. The others are more invitational, like try this and see if it works for you. Try this, try a different perspective, change your perspective on stuff. Because I think that's the only way you can bring people back to training. What I think is the ultimate goal of training is seeking voluntary discomfort without self-destructive behavior. Because self-destructive behavior is very close to compulsion and fear. Very, very close. Um, and us humans, we will do really stupid stuff if we're either afraid or we're forced to do it. I don't wanna mention too many practical examples here, but everybody gets the point. So this has to be a journey where you try out stuff, where you try different approaches, how to combine technique and intensity, how to do this, how to do that, and figure it out for yourself. I think that's a good way moving forward, so to speak, um, and see if that actually works for you. So um, that's my little humanistic side of things, because maybe because I was born and raised anti-authoritarian, because I don't believe in top-down approaches. I believe in trying stuff, offering stuff, seeing if it works, and if it actually works for you. I think we can bring more people to change their perspective on training, and towards our end goal of training, which is seeking voluntary discomfort without self-destructive behavior. Because I have seen too much self-destructive behavior in my own training years ago, in other people's training, and I don't think that's a good way how to handle it.
And have you gotten so far any feedback actually from the members of the traveling circus? And if so, what is the overall feedback?
Um, the feedback that I'm looking for, actually, I gave a friend of mine the book to read, and he replied to me. Um, it's kind of flattering, but I don't take it too seriously, as much as I don't take critics too seriously. But it's still nice to hear that he he liked the level of language that I use, which is like on an eye to eye level. It's not at all scientific. It's based on anecdotal stuff. It's based on whatever you want to call it, bro science. It's based on 10 years of experimenting with stuff. I don't use any Latin words in there. I call the femur the big thigh bone. I call stuff that everybody understands it. sort of the feedback so far is training training that stuff is hard, but it's fun. And
Mm.
if that's what sticks with people from my vision for the traveling circus, and they get the results that was wanted, like that's all I ever wanted to achieve is make training fun again, see a sense in it because you can see progress in it, and the reward is whatever your goal was, whether that's the first pull up or losing 5 kilos. That's a cool side effect of it, but it cannot be the only focus on it. The so to speak the end goal. So and the workshop that we like just people the what really fills my heart with joy is seeing people push hard, getting progress out of it, enjoying the session, lying on the floor, waking up the next day, sending me text messages, being like, okay, I thought I'd be in enormous sharp pain the next day, but I actually felt good and I want to train again. This is this is the like the epitome of feedback I get from the workshops, and people feel strong and empowered after training, doing the templates, and just realizing, okay, it is possible to combine learning necessary stuff while still making it fun and seeing abnormal results from it. And that's the invitation I want to bring out there, and everybody who wants to participate is highly appreciated and invited to do so. This is not an inclusive thing at all.
Did you have those experiences that you mentioned of people coming, training, giving their all, and then waking up the next day ready to push again? Did you have that experience previously as well when you kind of like before you discovered the way you train and coach now?
If I ever experienced the positive effects of it,
Yeah. Or if you had that scenario, if it kind of like previously was more like people came, kind of like shut themselves out to the moon, and then kind of like either had like injuries or something like that, because
oh
I can
yeah, sure,
imagine that it
that was
was like
me.
tremendously frustrating for someone who kind of like wants what you described in the previous scenario, and to then kind of like get frustrated if you see people like doing and like not progressing or being stuck in some injury or something like that.
Sure. I mean, I've been there. I've seen myself being in there. I've seen hundreds of people being in there. And the hard part is there's only two ways out. Actually, there's three. The first one is you're going to quit training because it doesn't make sense. Because if you get hurt, it actually doesn't make sense if you keep on training and you're looking for something that's less technical, whether that's just running or whatever, hot yoga, it doesn't matter. But you're looking for something that's less technical, gives you less progress, but still you can do it, which is reasonable if you got hurt during training. So you quit, you keep doing it, but you do it in a Coke light style. You do it, yes, you're still doing barbell back squats, but you're doing it with like 20 kilos.
Mhm.
And the third way is you just keep doing it and indulge in the self-destructive behavior until your body breaks.
Mhm.
And I've been there. Like I've trained through injuries. I've trained through inflammation, which led to actual injuries, to traumatic injuries. Like I've been through all this um, until you reach a point where you're either so desperate, so hurt, or so destroyed that um, you go back to your toddler phase and start learning again, or you go back to tier one, which is quitting, or back to
Mhm.
um, tier two, which is doing whatever training you're doing right now, but in a Coke light way.
Mhm.
And this needs to be avoided because we need progress. We need more people to understand especially men nowadays. And I'm calling all the men out here like right now. Guys, you have to step up your game because we as men, we're getting too weak. And as little as physical strength is needed nowadays for actually surviving, it is not. 100% is not needed anymore. as much as is needed mentally for I would say 99.9 of men out there. Outside of like super smart people, like rocket scientists, they still need to train, but they don't develop like mental health disorders because of not training. So for us, man, it's really simple. Um, have a great vision to work on, like something big you want to work towards. Take care of people that you really like and really love. And the third one is keep your body in shape. That means work hard physically and take care of whatever comes into your body. Like that's literally it. And I see the physical side disappearing more and more. Um, and surprise, surprise, I just looked at some numbers from mental health issues in men nowadays, and it's staggering.
Mm.
It's a couple of reasons, but if you want to get back on track, start building your body up. Start physical work. Start not talking about being strong, but actually be strong. Like lifting stuff, grabbing a sandbag, throwing it around, carrying it, squatting it. Um, Take care of your body first, and your mind will ease off over time, and actually allow you to focus mentally on stuff that you actually want to do in life. That was a little bit of a
Would you would
too
you
much philosophy. Please
would you
go ahead.
agree that oftentimes when men kind of like don't have that strength component and maybe even like a certain lack of purpose, that it leads to mental health issues in like let's talk about like suicide numbers, etc., or just like overall like being in a really dark place. And that on the other hand, women oftentimes that it goes towards more like obsessive behavior. Like let's think about like issues concerning eating disorders and stuff like that. Would you agree? Or
Okay, I'm only gonna talk about men now because I have an opinion on women, obviously, but I'm a man and have more experience in with my own behavioral disorders, however you want to call it. Um, so for us, man, it's actually really simple. And I know, and because I've gone through those phases as well, where you're lacking purpose or you're searching for meaning or whatever the fuck that means, is we need to take care of stuff. But that starts with a man needs to feel needed, but not in a weird, don't get me wrong, emotional way, but in a skill way. So that means the more skills you have as a man, and a skill is being strong, a skill is being a mechanic, a skill is being a gardener, a skill is being whatever, being the greatest, I don't know, piano player in the world. That's a skill. The more skills you have, the more purpose you will feel because will get good feedback from people, obviously, right? Um, because people will call you, right? Whether that's you're moving furniture, or whether that's I don't know, you're having a problem with a tree in the back of your garden. Like if you get called from people because you have a skill, that gives us, man, like the highest reward ever. Because we put so much hard work into it to acquire that skill, and if that's actually needed for somebody else, like that's can't get any better for us, right? Um, and being strong is one of them, right? So it's still worth acquiring the skill of strength, although it might not be needed for survival anymore nowadays. But it's going to be needed for different kind of stuff. It's going to be needed, and not only for carrying the groceries, but it is the base for being mentally strong. Because if you look yourself in the mirror and you look like a fluff bag and you look like whatever, you're not capable of doing anything, guess what? People will view you that way.
mm,
Our brains have not changed over the last couple of thousand years. So, practical example, if I see a man, a flabby man, who's not taking care of his body, I don't trust him.
yeah, and you also probably don't respect him as much.
Right. So it's not only about you getting stronger as a man, it's also about you telling other men in that sense you're trustworthy, because you're trustworthy because you have discipline, because you're not going to get strong without discipline. That means you're showing up, whatever, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, the gym nowadays, you taking care of yourself. So that means it's an unspoken rule between men that I only trust you if I see that you have discipline in many different areas. This is not just about training. But if I don't view you as trustworthy, guess what? I don't want to have to do with you. Like, I don't want to drink a beer with you. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to do business with you. Like, there's a reason why successful people that look fit, at least, and not chubby, more success than others, right? Because they show discipline, and that's going to be respected from the other side of the table.
Mm.
I'm not going to go into the women part here. No, no chance.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
Well, that's what we have. That's all we have for today.
Cool. So I'm calling you out, guys, once more. Start training, start taking care of your body. This is way more important than just being fit or having bigger arms or a huge squat. This is actually our base for being mentally capable of working on stuff, on bigger visions, on bigger projects, on bigger businesses, of creating something. It's way more important than we all think. Again, this is not, you don't need to train 20 hours a week. Like 2 hours, 2 sessions a week is totally fine. This has nothing to do with looking like a bodybuilder in a competition mode with 6% body fat. I don't care about that shit. But you need to be capable. Forget strong, be capable. If your back hurts when you're carrying something, that's going to be an issue. If you have a problem carrying your kids as a man and your back hurts, or you can't play with them, you can't play soccer with them, or you can't climb trees, or you can wrestle with them, or you can, whatever, ride a bike with them or go mountain biking with them, that's an issue. You need to stay capable. Otherwise, you will feel as an outsider. And men feeling like outsiders and pushed out of society is not a good thing, because they get weird, like they draw themselves back, they don't talk anymore, they isolate themselves, they get very narcissistic or even depressed at times. It's way more important than you think to grab something, start running, whatever it is, start a routine, do it twice a week, lift some weights, and your life will get better. Um, if you want to learn something in the same process, well, guess what? Do the templates, work on your hips, work on your shoulders, work on your trunk. You're gonna learn, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna have progress, you can push hard. Fun. It's fun to get progress. See you guys next week and bring other questions as always.